Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Rodney, and I'm back. And I wanted to talk about the Real Housewives of Atlanta reunion, uh, part one. If I hear the word gaslighting one more time, yeah, I said drink every time they say gaslighting. Oh my God. I think that's what happens like every year. Like we learn a new word. And for the last couple of years, the two words that we say the most are narcissist and gaslighting. Girl, I said the girls gonna gaslight me to death this reunion. I think everyone said the word gaslighting, including Andy. Oh my God. Um, it was. I'll say this much: once they released the reunion trailer, I got excited about the reunion. But the reunion was okay. Girl, we just gonna talk. Girl, we just gonna talk. I don't feel like going in any particular order. We just gonna talk. Some of you may be surprised at my commentary. Um, I think that the part one was okay, based off of the preview for the next part. It looks like it's going to be interesting, but I felt like based off of the trailer as a whole for the reunion, I thought that maybe they had conjured up something that was like, okay, girl, even though the season, you know, I still feel like some of y'all are too hard on Real Housewives of Atlanta, but nonetheless, girl, it is what it is. I'll start out with Sheree. He tells Sheree that she looks refreshed. Um, and the fashions. I will say this much: sitting down. I believe that sometimes when you versus whether it's a photograph, um, whether it's someone sitting down. Sometimes dresses can give you a different feel, and I feel like Moneta didn't look as bad sitting down as she did standing up. Girl, but I was like, okay, Moneta don't look that bad. Kenya still looked a mess to me. I didn't like Kenya's dress. I didn't like her hair. I just didn't. I still feel like, for the most part, I thought everybody looked good. I don't think there was one person who just looked a mess except for Kenya. I didn't like anything about Kenya. I didn't. I didn't. I didn't at all. Girl. But everybody else was cute. I thought Marlo looked the best still. Kandi looked nice. Sheree looked nice. Um, Drew looked nice. I still think there was too much fabric for Drew. Um, who else? Sonya looked very pretty. Um, Courtney Courtney was giving me an old girl Disney villain tea with her dress, but it was cute. But we already talked about that. I did a video. I'll put the link to the video in the description box if you want to hear my commentary going down from person to person to person. They talked about Bob and the daughter. Sheree saying that she didn't know. She don't really care. It is what it is. She not married to the man no more. They talk about Sheree's new face looking like Drew. Sheree and Martel. Can I say something? This is the first reunion. Girl, I feel like don't take my team twirl card. I'm the president of the team twirl. But I also like to be honest in my opinion. This was the first reunion where I felt like this was not Kenya's reunion. Nothing she said really landed to me. I was almost embarrassed at one point. I was. I was like, ooh. Now she wasn't talking a lot. Now that part I don't blame her. Because this is the thing. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. Y'all cannot expect Kenya to be the star of the show, the anchor of the show, to drive the show from the back seat. It's literally like expecting someone from the back seat to drive a car. I think for Kenya, This is no shade to nobody on the show. For Kandi, it's about money. Kandi don't care what she said. As long as her check is right, girl, I don't care. I consider the end of this couch every reunion. For Kenya, it's about respect. Respect me for what I've brought to the show. Respect me if you want me to be the anchor, if you want me to be the one who pushes the show along, then give me that respect. I'm not doing it from the middle seat. Just like you wouldn't expect anyone to drive a car from a back seat, don't expect me to drive the car from the middle seat. Put me at the front. So I want to say that. But even with me saying that, I still feel like this wasn't Kenya's best reunion. She pulled out a subpoena for Marlo, and it wasn't even the right. I think the paper. I don't even think it was the right paper. Oh, girl. I think it would have been. I think if it was what it was supposed to be and gave what it was supposed to give, then it would have landed. But it didn't land because it's kind of like, girl, you just. It's like you just pulled out a piece of paper. And Andy reading the paper like, girl, this ain't even got nothing on the lines. It just didn't. It didn't land. Some of y'all may be shocked. I felt like Sheree's side of the couch really carried the first part of the reunion. They did. Kenya, her stuff wasn't landing. Kandi was stuttering. Girl, she couldn't get out. She couldn't get out her reads. Girl, Drew was acting. I'm not saying you can't be mad at Courtney because she has every right to be. We're at this point. It's kind of like this is when I start to kind of get frustrated with Drew because it's like, girl, you can be mad at Courtney all day long, but you said out of your own mouth that Ralph has been feeding Courtney information. So if you know that, honey, you should have, girl, you should have one in this hand and one in this hand for both of them. But it looked like you just got one in this hand for her. When the stuff that she's saying, Ralph is telling her. It's no different than how I felt about Spice and Erica Mena and Safari on Love and Hip Hop. Spice knows the stuff that she knows because Safari had been telling Spice. Erica said it. She was right. Ralph, Drew, you're saying it. You're right. We had an example the very last episode when Courtney, when Courtney said to Allison, "Haven't you called her a B before?" The only reason why she would say that is because Ralph told her to say that. Anyways, I told you we're not going in no particular order. We just gonna talk. Sheree and Martel, she said she had to pull back. She was getting caught up in his mess. Remember Martel? Oh man. Oh, I forgot I had my cup right here. Oh God. Anyways, got some of my notes. I hope the notes. Oh God. Okay, it'll be all right. Um. Anyways, so she said she had to pull back. Remember, Martel was accused of revenge, PORN, with his ex-wife Melody. Then I put Kenya in Kenya in the subpoena. It was a flop. Sorry. And then Marlo talking out the side of her neck, talking about I apologize for Brooklyn being in between our BS. I don't know what does that mean. I apologize for Brooklyn being in between our BS. Girl, what? I was like, okay, Marlo, girl, whatever. I do believe that Marlo was calling Mark or called Mark to get some information. This is the thing, right? Because they all do it on the stage. What they'll Drew does it, Kandi does it, Kandi does it, Sheree does it, Marlo, they all do it. When it's time, they'll believe the men when it benefits them, right? Mark has been a complete disaster mess this whole time, but now Kenya wants to believe him when he says that Marlo was calling him to get dirt on Kenya. Look, Mark is not my favorite one, but I do believe that Marlo did it. I do. I do. I do. I believe it, and I think, and Marlo knows she did. Based Marlo is going to make sure, come hook or come crook, she keeps that peach. And whatever she needs to do in order to bring drama to the show, she's willing to do it. When Andy told Sheree that you have an interesting relationship with bills. Yes. Oh, Sheree says that nobody has ever taken her to court. Just because nobody's ever taken you to court doesn't mean that you pay all your bills. Girl, you know what I'm saying? Like Sheree's head, since nobody's ever taken me to court, then you can't say that basically I don't pay my bills. No. Because somebody could, if I'm not saying just because somebody says it makes it true, but we've heard stories of people complaining about Sheree not paying her bills. Just because that person decided not to take you to court, that doesn't mean that you did not pay your bill. It just means that they decided not to take you to court. Kandi versus Sheree. Girl, it was a lot. Girl, it was just a whole bunch of stuttering. Girl, I was like, girl, what is going on? All thing I did here was when Kandi called her a low down dirty bitch. I said I heard that clear. Okay. Sheree get up talking about girl squats, not shots. Girl, Kandi told her girl, because all you put all the shots in your face. I will say this much. I wish Kandi was a reader. Because there's no way that Sheree Whitfield will be able to sit in my face and tell me anything about businesses. Girl, I will talk about yours, but you don't have one. Girl, the last one you had was in 99. Girl, like, girl, Sheree ain't got, girl, that's why I was looking at Kandi like, Kandi, you don't get this woman together. Like, Sheree was low-key eating up Kandi quiet as it's kept. But the fact is, she shouldn't have been able to, because as soon as Sheree started mentioning businesses, honey, girl, it took Sheree 15 years, girl, to come out with some hoodies and girl a couple of leggings, and all she did was go to Shein, buy it, and throw her name on the front. Sheree can't talk about nobody's business. Talking about, oh, worry about mopping those dirty ass floors. Sheree was low-key eating Kandi up. But it shouldn't have been that easy, because to me, no tea, no shade, Sheree is an easy read. She really is. And the simple fact that Kandi wasn't eating Sheree up was driving me insane. I was like, Kandi, you really could eat her up. Like chew her up and spit her out. But Kandi, well, Kandi has already said she's not a reader like that. She's always said that. I'm not gonna lie, the She News. I said, girls. I'm sorry. But when I tell you I gagged, girl, especially I got on the neighborhood talk, and they actually we really couldn't see, and then when they showed the pictures, they were blurring out the pictures on the show. But the neighborhood talk has the actual photos. Girl, when I say baby girl, but the gag is Sheree, if you put as much effort into your She by Sheree, right? If you put that much effort into your home, it would have taken you, girl, 7 days and 7 nights. Girl, this looks. I was like, girl, the simple fact that this looks great, and you had someone put this together, make it look like this, girl, you should have been putting this effort into your clothing line. That's how I know y'all. That's how I know Sheree priorities are up. Anyway, so She News. Kandi says, I wish she would print out some fashions. Drew in the Lifetime movie, they said they heard that Drew only got paid $10,000. Sure, Kandi says it was more than that. I don't think it was too much more than that, because if I know Kandi doesn't have to go into detail about what they paid their actors. But girl, somebody would say, girl, please, girl, we paid her way more than 10,000. But she was like, it was way more than that. Like, girl, what, 20? 15? 13? 75? 14,500? Drew. Drew says that she's a union actor. So what she said, a union actor. Listen, I saw some people clowning Drew. I'm gonna defend Drew. Because the truth of y'all heard these people at the pool. The truth of the matter is, even though we're not gonna sit here and act like Drew is this working actress and girl, we see her, girl, all on the TV screen because that's not the case. But girl, if that's her rate, that's her rate. Period. And you know, if at first she wasn't even gonna do the movie, her agent turned down the movie, and then I think she said Todd personally called her, and then because she was like, okay, this is Todd, you know, basically, okay, girl, I'll do it, right? You know, the truth is, again, the truth is, Drew is not this working actress that we see on television all the time. But I still don't think it's fair to make it seem as though she should know her worth, or she shouldn't, or she can't ask for a certain pay. Um, they bring up Drew talking about girl. Basically, she ain't doing that ghetto ass shit no more. All they want to do Lifetime or more. Well, maybe this was, you know, you could look at it through this lens too. Maybe this was the way for Drew to kind of get back out there because again, I think multiple things can be true at the same time. We're not gonna sit here and also act like, girl, Drew, we ain't really seen you do no acting, and you've been on Real Housewives of Atlanta for what 3 years now, and this is your first acting gig that we hear that I've heard about. So maybe this is what Drew needed in order to get back out there, you know, to show the people, girl, her acting chops. Kenya shading Drew, but feeling some way about Drew shading her. Kenya, it's the same thing, mama. You shaded Drew and called her stuff low budget, and that's probably worse than what Drew said. Because I think Drew only said something about the last movie you were in or something about your movie coming out 22 years ago. You shaded her entire production. You called it low budget. Hello? Um, Drew was told, oh, Drew said she was told basically not to go against Queen Kandi, about the whole kissing stuff. I'm still confused. Because Drew is so concrete in her saying she did not kiss Sawyer. I'm not gonna lie. A small part of me does believe Drew, but I just don't think that Kandi will lie about something like that. Would she? I don't know if I believe it. I mean, I don't know if I don't think that Kandi is lying. Um, Kandi, here we go. Kandi looks at the situation with Ralph completely different. Basically, she says that because if she sees that how Drew is gaslighting her, so she probably doing the same thing with her husband. Girl, y'all quick to thought. I said all the examples. I, all I'm saying is this, y'all. You want to throw you Kandi could have said, I see exactly what son you was going through last year with you, Drew. Because look, I see how you doing me now. But I think that once you start to kind of like go down this road of low key taking this nigga side, and we see that girl like, and again, these women on these shows, they know the ins and outs. We only get to see 45 minutes of girl hours and hours and hours of footage. But girl, based off what y'all see, girl, there's no way y'all can convince me that even if you think that Drew is a problem, girl, that Ralph ain't hell on wheels. Ralph is literally sitting there with a woman at the end of the couch, giving her the gun and the ammunition to go after his wife and her sister. Girl, if that ain't some bullshit, and then you got the nerve to sit on the couch and be like, well, I can see what Ralph, girl, like, what? Girl. Like that's how y'all know these girls ain't friends because if that's your friend, you really won't say no. You really won't say no shit like that to your friend. You will probably try to give any other example, but I'm not gonna sit here and take this a nigga who comes across as abusive, take his side over you. It is what it is, girl. Um, they start talking about Marlo. I mean, Drew kissing. Yeah, let me say something. I don't know who coached Marlo. When I tell y'all, baby, they did a number on Marlo Hampton. Cause Miss Thing, I'm gonna be honest with y'all. To me, Marlo was low key. The stuff Marlo was low key kind of eating the reunion, y'all. She wasn't like over the top and doing a whole lot, but girl, when she just said something, I was like, okay, Miss Marlo. I don't know who coached Marlo, but the ghetto gutter stipe, your pussy is whack, Marlo was not in attendance. Girl, we had Miss Girl perched. Girl, I'm gonna sit here and smile, say my little stuff, and girl, smile. Okay, okay, all right, okay, girl, okay, girl, whatever, okay, girl, whatever, okay. That was Marlo. She said, Drew says that Marlo is out of touch. And then Marlo says, Toya said, you like to touch. Girl, when Marlo and Drew started going back, I was hollering at the stuff that Marlo was saying. Toya said, you like to touch. You like the tongue kiss. Girls, you don't want to admit it. Come on out. Come out. I was hollering. I kissed the girl. You know, she said, you kissed the girl. You liked it. When I tell you, I was hollering at Marlo, girl. Anyway, that was funny. And then they all basically say, pretty much in a nutshell, that they either wanted to work out with Drew and Ralph or either they're gonna be okay. That's some weird shit to me. Like y'all be not y'all, not y'all, but y'all. Shout out to the diva, girl. Y'all be so like pro marriage that even if you see one of your sister friends, co-workers in a real toxic, fucked up marriage, girl, for the sake of a bitch being married, girl, you still gonna be like, yeah, girl, I hope y'all work it out. Girl, do y'all see what's going on? Like, why would you want her to stay in a situation like that with the man who has no respect for her? He's literally the op in real life. And she knows it. Did y'all hear when they called the other couch jealous broke girls? And then Sheree said they gotta get their money up. I said, bitch, just Kandi sitting on the couch alone, y'all lose. Girl, they even if Kenya and Drew and Mayetta were broke, girl, Kandi alone, honey, we win. What are you talking about? Yeah, get out my face. I said, not Sheree, the person. It took Sheree how long to come out with She by Sheree? It took her how long to build a home, calling somebody broke? Um, Courtney comes out. She says to her dad, "Girl, girl, you know how I always say, I feel like we too old to be fighting, and girl, but I can also understand how some people lose it, girl." Courtney would have had to meet me outside. Girl, all of that, girl. What you gonna do, girl? Drew threw a plum. I said, "Oh, girl, here we go." So Drew picks out a plum and throws it at Courtney. I guess that's supposed to be. Remember what Nene was saying? Remember she said something about your plum. You thought your peach was gonna turn it. You thought your plum was gonna turn into a peach or something. It was whack. I was like, girl, the props are not propping. Kenya was a disappointment with that subpoena that wasn't a subpoena. You, girl, with this plum, like, girl, what are we doing? Like, what is going on? Um, Courtney says that her dad's sister is married to Ralph's cousin or Ralph's uncle, I believe she said. Kenya explains, Marlo is still talking to Scotty. They just having sex, basically. Ain't nothing going on, child. Just grown people fucking, basically. Kenya, let me tell you why there's not a difference between what Roy did and what Martel did. Okay, one, it's always the intent behind a DM. Just because someone DMs someone does not mean that they're trying to talk to that person. People DM me all the time. Okay, that doesn't mean they're trying to talk to me. Instead of Kenya just saying, girl, Marlo and Roy went on a date. Girl, that was before me. I couldn't tell you nothing about Roy and Marlo or what they did. I don't care. We're dating now. It is what it is. Kenya wanted to try and, girl, like explain why Roy ain't into Marlo and why. No, Roy was into Marlo. Because the truth of the matter is, no matter how you slice it and dice it, he slid into her DM. He responded to a story. But with him responding to the story, they went out on a date. So his intent was to get with Marlo. You see what I'm saying? It would be different if it was on some Chris and Real Housewives of Potomac mess, right? Where he was just responding to the story and telling them to come down to his club or whatever, the restaurant that he used to work at. And they tried to flip it and make it seem as though Chris was trying to talk to somebody, right? That's different. Roy was trying to talk to Marlo in the discussion. The date proved that he was trying to, regardless if they went to Taco Bell, Taco Cabana, a Subway. Regardless if they took the bus, the MARTA, the train, girl got there on a broom. They still went out on a date. Lunch date, dinner date, it doesn't matter. Right? Martel was trying to talk to Kenya. Kenya didn't take the bait. Now, where I did agree with Kenya was there was no need to tell you about Martel being in my DMs because I didn't think he was really serious about bringing a nigga around us. Once I saw him at the party, like, oh, girl, y'all for real, for real. Oh, you bringing him onto the show. Then, girl, let me tell you, girl, just say FYI, girl, your nigga tried to slide in my DMs. I think that's why I do agree with Kenya at. I put the intent behind DMs matters. So yeah, I don't like the fact that Kenya was sitting there trying to explain Marlo. I'm gonna say this, girl. I'm kind of over the whole jokes. I am. We get it, y'all. We get it. Marlo sold pussy before, girl. We done all sold a little dick, a little pussy, a little ass, a throat, girl, boochie cat, whatever, girl. It don't matter, girl. Girl, like, girl, I'm sick of it. Like, girl, we get it, girl. Marlo sold some pussy before, girl. We get it. Was it a collusion with the girls? I remember looking at that scene as if girls something. It looked like they were. What's the word I'm looking for? Like, girl, like they were a team. Um, Drew calling Courtney a bitch. I don't know, girl. Because Courtney, you just said on the show that, girl, you admitted to calling Courtney the B word. Now you're saying that Manetta was confused. No, girl, you're confused, and you're confusing me. Okay, because you just said on the season finale that, girl, you admitted to calling Drew a bitch, and now all of a sudden, girl, you didn't call her that. Did you or did you not? And then they start to talk about Courtney calling Kandi ghetto. I told y'all. I said this the other day. I literally said this the other day before I even knew it was going to be a part of the conversation at this reunion. Kandi expects loyalty, but is not willing to give it out. We're going to get into this a little bit more in the next recap review when they talk about Kandi basically shading her coworkers. Girl, Kandi expects Sonya to chin check Courtney for talking about she brings out the ghetto, but girl, you'll turn around and have Drew's enemy on your show to discuss Drew and her sister's mental health. Girl, you're not giving what you asking. And that's gonna get me into the next thing about, girl. Like I always say about YouTubers, girl, y'all want to be YouTubers, but want to be friends with not y'all, but people. It's like Funk It Aniva and Quad. Remember when they fell out? Because it's like, girl, we want to be YouTubers and we want to be invited to the parties, but we also want to talk about the people like a dog on the internet. It don't work that way, and I feel like that's what Kandi is doing too. Kandi want to act like, oh, I'm just being cool, I'm giving everybody a chance, but you're not realizing some of the people that you're inviting onto your platform is causing chaos and confusion with the people who you claim that you're friends with. It can't work both ways. You can't be sitting down there kikiing with my enemy, right? Just like you don't want Sonya to sit there kikiing and letting this heifer call you ghetto. It's the same exact thing. Because Kandi looks at it as though, oh, well, I'm just giving everybody the platform to speak on it. Okay, well, girl, I just gave a platform to Courtney to speak on it, and she just happened to call you ghetto. And I giggled. But when you giggle and don't speak on it, it ain't an issue. Okay. And then Drew, I don't know. Drew and Courtney saw going back and forth. Courtney should have got her ass whooped low key. I'm not low key, high key. Drew says that she just met Ralph yesterday. That's what she said. And then she turned around, girl, a second later and said Ralph has been coaching her this entire season. Girl, did she just meet Ralph yesterday or has Ralph been coaching her this entire season? That's what I'm saying. Drew has no intention of leaving Ralph or that marriage because all of her heat all of her venom is directed to Courtney. Now, it's one thing if you had venom, the same amount of venom for both, maybe, then I could see it. But because you start out saying, oh, she just met Ralph yesterday. Now it's Ralph no, Ralph been telling her your business. And Ralph been talking, and Ralph, if you really want to be, if we just gonna lay it on the table, Ralph been talking about your fucking son with that heifer. That's why she's so fucking comfortable getting her black ass down to the internet. I mean, getting her black ass down to the show, thinking she wasn't being recorded and talking about, girl, he's talking about adopt this child. Girl. Everything that Courtney is saying, Drew Sidora, she's getting it from your husband, Ralph Pittman. So if you're going to be off with her head, you definitely need to chop that nigga off at his knees and his. Period. He's giving her the ammunition and the gun to come for you. And then you got the ladies on the stage talking about, I hope they work through it. I hope they work through it. You hope they work through it for what? Girl. No, Drew needs to divorce that nigga and go find her a new man and a stepdaddy for them children. Anyways, I'm gone because these hoes out here making all this goddamn noise, child. I can't even talk like I want to talk. All right. Girl, my building is right by the goddamn pool. All right, I'm gone. I'll talk to y'all later. Have a good night. Bye, y'all.